So let's have a look at editing one of my maternity images that I took in the last few months. This was taken actually an Airbnb that they were staying at, but this was just the bedroom, but it really did mimic quite a studio setting. It was beautiful, bright, sort of white wooden floors, lots of neutral bedding, lovely linen headboard and that kind of thing. It actually had French doors over this side, and then it had a like a porthole round window just to the side of the bed, which I actually ended up covering up with a cushion because the sun was beating directly through it. We did do some direct sun images, but for these we wanted a softer, much more calm, serene type of image. So the first thing that I will do when I'm editing is I will come up to my presets and I will just dial through and work out which one I want to use. I already know probably what I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use amber. I just like it's got a little bit more depth. So amber comes with my warmth profile, which you can obviously add or take away. Let's set that back to where it should be. I'm going to just reduce the overall exposure and bring the highlights down a little tiny bit. And I think we need a little bit more pink in this image, and maybe a little tad of warmth. Brilliant. So automatically I can see here we've got really bright leg, which is pulling my eye. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to crop the image in to see how much of that we can remove without doing much else. Obviously our eye wants to be drawn here. This is the main part of the image. So automatically that looks a lot better. And then I'm going to do what I do to 90% of my images, is I'm going to use my bottom up preset, which is just a mask that brings up, brings down the exposure, adds some contrast and some highlights, and just helps bring the eye up into the image. Now with all of these masks, they are completely, I don't know, I was going to say editable, but that's not a word. I can't think of the word off the top of my head. Why has my brain gone blank? Customizable. There we go. There's the word. So you can move them, you can add them where they are, where you want them to be. So I can sort of bring that in on an angle and just reduce that brightness in that bottom corner. I actually think I'm going to make that like about there. I don't want too much on the bump. And then I'm also going to just bring in, I need a little bit more, but I don't want to sort of reduce it everywhere on the image. So I'm going to come in with a brush and I'm going to use my dark and define, and I'm just going to paint where I want that a little bit extra dark. I don't like it there. And with this, again, customizable, so I could up the warmth and up the pinks within that brush. I can change this, or I can add or take away, you know, the amount of that preset that is being applied with that brush. Let's bring that. And then again, I'm going to keep this brush on, and I'm going to just bring a little bit of that over here. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try again. Oh, how did I manage to do that? Let's get rid of that. That's better. A tiny bit on this bump here. And I think I'm going to bring the exposure back up a little. Just have a little tiny play with these. This is the part that when you're a photographer, you just do all these tiny little tweaks that nobody's ever really going to notice, but they're things that drive you mad. So that's good. I'm happy with that. There's a little mark on Mum's arm here, so I would probably go in with the remove tool and just let Lightroom do its thing. Anything like that that's going to sort of pull the eye away. Other than that, I think that looks pretty good. So that was edited with Amber. Obviously used my bottom up, my dark and define, and a little bit of just brushing in certain places, but they are super versatile. I think that looks great, and I haven't spent a huge amount of time editing it.